Hello students. So we will resume female reproductive system discussion. So I'll tell you about a gland that is a part of the external reproductive system only, that is called as Bartholin's gland. Bartholin's gland is also known as greater vestibular glands. Greater vestibular. And they are situated just behind the labia majora on each side. Behind labia majora. On each side. It means they are paired. And these glands, they secrete, their main secretion is they secrete mucus. And they have a duct. So they are exocrine glands, they have duct. So they produce, their ducts are between the hymen and labia minora. So these glands secrete mucus, and this mucus lubricates the vulva and vagina. Now let us discuss about the ovaries, the internal structure of the ovary. So let us discuss it through a diagram. So let me make a diagram. So ovaries, if you talk about the shape of the ovaries, which are the primary reproductive organs, they are compact and solid structures, oval almond shape. The shape is of an almond shape, and at the periphery you will notice that they have got some projections like this, some protuberances, you can say. There are some protuberances at the peripheral portion. They are bulged out, you can say. At the peripheral region, you can see they are bulged out. So this is the visceral peritoneum layer, which I have drawn right now. This is a visceral peritoneum. This has been formed from the mesoderm of the embryo. There are three layers, endoderm, mesoderm and all. So it has been formed from the mesoderm. Now followed by this visceral peritoneum, there is another lining of epithelium lining that is called as germinal epithelium. And this germinal epithelium only somewhere responsible for formation of gamete forming cells. So they are gonadial epitheliums, you can say. So this is germinal epithelium. So this is the second layer, innermost to visceral peritoneum, the germinal epithelium layer. So this is germinal epithelium. So this is the germinal epithelium. Now next to germinal epithelium is another layer that is called as tunica albuginea. So tunica albuginea is the single layer of, there is a single layer of germ cells, and outer to this germ cells is a layer called as tunica albuginea. So this is the layer which I am making with a red color. This is tunica albuginea layer. So these are the layers which make an outline of the ovary. So this is the layer, the red one is tunica albuginea. Now we will notice the innermost layer. There are two regions, one is the outermost and one is the innermost. The inner region is called as medulla and the outer peripheral portion is known as cortex. So this is the outer peripheral portion that is called as cortex. So this is the outer peripheral portion that is called as cortex, and the innermost region is known as medulla. The inner central region is known as medulla. And in the inner region we notice some different types of cells. That is, there are some cells which are the smaller cells can be seen. These smaller cells grows into some other mature cells. So these cells are called as follicles, and these follicles are primordial follicles. And this development will be seen only towards the periphery. Now they may develop, this primordial follicles develop. So this is the developed. I am showing only one, there will be many. So this is a developed follicle. So it will develop more. Soon we will notice some cavity in these developments. Now it will become mature follicle. It is moving towards its mature form. You can see a large cavity now. This is the most matured form, that is referred as Graafian follicle. This is the nucleus part, and you can see the cavity. So this is the matured Graafian follicle. This is called as mature follicle or Graafian follicle. When these follicles will rupture, let me show you. Suppose this follicle has been ruptured. So this is a ruptured follicle. So when this follicle is ruptured, this is known as, it releases ovum. This is ovum which was enclosed in this follicle, and this step is called as ovulation. The process of release of ovum from the follicle, that is called as ovulation. So this is ovulation. Slowly and slowly these follicles turns into a mass of tissue that is generally yellowish, having yellowish appearance. So better to make me with a yellow color. So this is a yellowish tissue that turns into a structure called as corpus luteum. So this is corpus luteum. As I told you, this is the medulla portion, the central innermost region, that is called as medulla. And finally this corpus luteum becomes mature and grows into a other structure that is called as mature corpus luteum, and then finally it starts degenerating. Some structure will notice like this. This is a mature corpus luteum. And finally we will find the degenerating tissue of this, that is called as corpus albicans. This is corpus albicans. So this is the ovary section of ovary showing development of Graafian follicle, corpus luteum and ovulation. In the cortical region, you can see this is the cortical region as I marked. This is the cortical region, the outer part, because the central one is medulla. So these primordial follicles, they can be called as, they are immature and they can be called as primary oocytes. They can be called as primary oocytes. And these primary oocytes, that is each one of them will be surrounded by cluster of nutritive cells, that is called as developed follicles or follicular cells. The cells which will surrounding the primary oocytes, cluster of nutritive cells surrounding each primary oocyte then they are called as follicular cells or granulosa cells. Follicular cells or granulosa cells. These clusters of cells are called as follicles. And these follicles are derived from, already I told you, they are derived from germinal epithelium. These follicles are derived from germinal epithelium. So remember. So each follicle consists of a primary oocyte which is diploid. Each will consist of primary oocyte that is diploid. So after certain stage, when this Graafian follicle, the primordial follicle, when they mature, they become a large follicle that is called as Graafian follicle, develops only once in about 4 weeks, within a 4-week period. So this was all about the section of ovary. Thank you for today.